heard many managers say this, executives. Situational leadership, it changed the way I manage people.
I think it's the most practical model you'd ever get for leadership. It's good for first-line supervisor, it's good for a CEO, it's good for everyone to know and understand. Now, what I love about what you guys are teaching on power, though, is you give people a model. And you give them a model to look at various levels of power. And then they can use that model to focus on how can I get the best leverage that I can in a specific situation. Mm-hmm. For example, one common case study is two case studies of power. One person is a senior vice president, 2 levels down from the CEO. One's the administrative assistant to the CEO. Who has the most power? Well, you think about it, in theory, this senior vice president has a whole lot more power than an administrative assistant. What is this senior vice president going to do to hurt the administrative assistant? Not much.
Yeah.
What can this assistant do to hurt him? Plenty. Who really has the power here? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes when you look at the concept of power, what I like about the way you guys teach this is you get out of this simplistic view that just because your box is higher up on some chart than someone else's, that means you definitely have more power than them. Not always. Mm-hmm. Sometimes somebody at the bottom has more power than somebody at the top. One of the power bases you're talking about is connection power.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they may be connected with people that are important, all kinds of things. And I like the way you guys teach it, because what you do is you really cause people to think and analyze power, as opposed to making these naive assumptions. And when people make the naive assumptions, that's where they get lost in, quote, what should be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the boss. I should have power to make this person go out and bust their butt. Well, that's nice. Theoretically, you should, but practically, you don't.
Yeah.
Make peace. Move on.
Get going, yeah.
Do what you can do, but don't sit there carping about what you're not going to change anyway.
Yeah. We've recently done a couple of studies with training industry on kind of revalidating the 7 power bases, Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, cross generations,
yeah,
all 7 of those power bases are still highly valid.
Of course.
Will people do things to avoid punishment? The coercive, of course they will.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times misunderstood, I think style 1, really the purpose of that mm-hmm. is to create movement.
Yeah.
So if somebody is scared and they don't know what they're doing, and mm-hmm. you, the boss, says, okay, I want you to follow my exact instruction, mm-hmm. they may take that first step because they want to avoid punishment. But once they do, right. they're into the developmental cycle, and
right.
and you move on. But the 3 big winners in terms of the power bases, where people really said, yeah, of all 7, mm-hmm. these 3 make the most sense. Like, I would change my behavior mm-hmm. if my boss asked me to do something differently on the basis of these 3. And the first one was legitimate power. Mm-hmm. If you're the boss, there's that whole idea of oughtness.
Right.
It's kind of like you should make this decision.
Right.
And a lot of times with legitimate power, you think about the whole idea of holding people accountable
right.
For things and making those difficult decisions. And so often in organizations, from our perspective anyway, culturally, whatever, people shy away from that.
Yeah.
They're afraid to do that. And what that does is it really impacts their referent power. Mm-hmm. Because people see them as unwilling to exercise their authority when their authority should be exercised.
Right.
And it really impacts the whole idea of my identification with you
right.
as a leader. And then the third thing was expert power, legitimate mm-hmm. referent and expert power. Mm-hmm. 2 of those 3, there's almost no end to the creative approach that you can take to build your referent power mm-hmm. or your expert power. It's like emotional intelligence, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So if I want you, for whatever reason, to identify with me, I have to invest. Mm-hmm. I have to listen. I have to understand. I have mm-hmm. to do things for you on a consistent basis over time, mm-hmm. or you're going, Sam isn't such a bad guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe when he asks me to do something I don't want to do, mm-hmm. I'll just pitch in and do it. Mm-hmm. In terms of developing expertise, if I really want to become an expert, mm-hmm. there's a ton of things I can do mm-hmm. to sort of increase that ability. But with legitimate power, as the doc used to say, position power, it's given to you. If you don't use it, you lose it. Mm-hmm. So those 3 things really drive the effectiveness of pretty much any style you're going to employ. Mm-hmm. And so much of referent power, as you've talked a lot about, is just saying goodbye to ego. Mm-hmm. If you're saying to somebody, do this because I'm in charge, mm-hmm. you're probably on shaky ground there. But as you go up in the organization, is that valid from your perspective, like legitimate, referent, expert, as kind of really being the drivers of effective influence?
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. That makes lots of sense to me.
Yeah.